Hey there, Isaiah Simpson here, marketer, optimization wizard, all around great guy. And I'm here today to talk to you about my general marketing philosophy, okay? I'm going to take about 5 minutes today and go over a high-level overview of what I believe must be present for marketing of any kind to be done successfully. We're also going to talk very specifically about some things that can threaten a marketing program. To begin with, I want to be very clear about what I mean by marketing, right? I'm not only talking about ads, although this certainly applies to ads. I'm talking about any time you as an organization is asking someone for something. You want them to take a target action, right? So when I say marketing today, I'm not only talking about Facebook ads. I'm talking about your website. I'm talking about your email program. Anytime you're trying to get someone to take a target action. We have 4 minutes. I'm going to jump right in. These 8 steps over here are universal steps that apply to every decision-making process that people have to go through throughout the day. Okay, the first one here is attention. Speaking very specifically about you as an organization trying to get a customer to do a target action. If you can't get their attention, then nothing else matters. They're going to move right along. Let's assume you've got their attention. The next is interest. So you've gotten some of their time with attention, maybe a couple seconds. Interest means you can pull them in a little bit deeper. They're going to give you a little bit more of their time, engage a little bit deeper, okay? Once you've got their interest, now you can move into comprehension. You have their attention, you've garnered their interest. Now you can explain what you want them to do. Credibility comes after that. Once you've explained what you want them to do, now you have to get them to believe that what you're saying is true, okay? Very, very important. From credibility, we move into urgency. So they are paying attention, they're interested, they understand what you're trying to say, they believe what you're saying is true. Now they have to think to themselves, okay, I want to do this thing now. It's important for me to do it now. Moving in right into exclusivity. I want to do this thing right now, and I want to do it with you, with your organization. If you're solving a problem, I want to solve this problem now, and I believe that your organization is the best possible solution for this problem, okay? After exclusivity has been proven, now we move into the ask and follow through. The ask is pretty obvious. You actually ask them to do the thing you want them to do. The follow through is less obvious, but you want to continually reaffirm that what they're doing is good for them or good for the world or good for their community. You need to continually reestablish what they're doing is valuable, even after they've said yes to the ask, right? So even as they're filling out their payment details, you want to be continually reassuring them that what they're doing is safe and good and right. Okay, those are the 8 steps. Let's talk about what can threaten these steps, okay? First, lack of clarity. They don't understand what you're saying. They don't understand the value of what you're trying to get them to do. A really common form that lack of clarity takes is like jargon and industry speak, like a page written that's really exciting to someone who knows the industry really well, completely obtuse to a regular person, right? I've seen it time and time again. Okay, moving right along. Friction, okay? Friction is a catch-all term for anything that might cause them to want to eject from the journey. So this is like a bad site UX, a difficult payment portal, right? There's no express checkout options, the autofill doesn't work. All that stuff adds up in this friction category. The more friction there is, the more likely they are to, again, eject from the journey. Okay, irrelevance. This means you could be targeting you're asking the wrong kind of person to do the thing. It's not your product or service is not relevant to this kind of person. It could also be a lack of urgency, right? It's not relevant to them right now. So if you fail to establish urgency, they will probably think to themselves, well, this seems pretty cool, but I don't need to do it today. I'll do it tomorrow or next week or next year. And oftentimes that causes them to never come back again, right? Okay, distractions. Now, distractions fall into 2 categories: things that we can control as marketers and things that we cannot control. The things that we cannot control are things that happen in the external environment of, the dog knocks over a vase and it breaks, the kids need help with the homework, et cetera, et cetera. Can't control those, which makes it all the more important to optimize what we can control, right? And so we're talking about a website here, for example. You don't want to have a lot of different competing asks on the website. In that case, you're actually distracting them from your most important ask. So when it comes to a web page, we really want to make sure that the vast majority of that page's energy is going towards getting them to do the most important action that you want them to take. Finally, here we have anxiety, right? And this can be caused by a lack of credibility on your site. So they find bad reviews, they can't find any reviews. That's going to spike their anxiety. Also, professionalism, right? General professionalism in your design and your site functionality. If it seems a little janky, that immediately is going to spike their anxiety. Okay, so obviously this is a super fast, high-level overview of what really makes marketing work. Over here are the 8 steps, these 8 micro decisions that must be made, and then some common things that can threaten those 8 steps. If you have particular questions about how these could be brought to bear for your exact organization, feel free to reach out to me. If you want to if you want to dive deeper into some of the tactics that can be explored to make sure that you're maximizing these 8 steps and avoiding these threats, feel free to reach out to me as well. Thank you so much for your time today. If you stuck with me to the end here, I really appreciate it. And as always, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have more questions. I'd love to talk about this stuff all day and all night. Thanks. Have a great week.